Before the first light of dawn touched the misty valleys of Iga and Koga, the shadows began to move, a silent, deliberate tide that crept along mountain paths, riverbanks, and bamboo groves. The ninja emerging like smoke given shape, their feet brushing the earth so lightly that even the wind seemed unaware of their passage. And as you step into this hidden world, imagine the sheer scale of their operation. Dozens, then hundreds of agents, each carrying the weight of intelligence, sabotage, and death, moving in perfect coordination, their eyes trained to see the slightest glimmer of metal in the distance, their ears tuned to catch the faintest whisper of human presence, each heartbeat measured, deliberate, each breath a tool of patience. For one mistake could unravel weeks of preparation, and the clans that commanded them demanded absolute precision. They were not soldiers in formation, but specters, living armies of observation and deception, masters of terrain, weather, and timing, turning forests into fortresses of invisibility, rivers into barriers, and villages into silent theaters where every door, every roof, every shadow could conceal friend or foe. And their missions began long before any battle was declared, with careful reconnaissance in enemy territory, noting the rotations of guards, the weight of gates, the supply routes, and the morale of opposing soldiers, using signals, markers, and coded messages that could traverse mountains without a single voice, while their own camps remained hidden in the folds of hills, camouflaged by nature itself, the smell of smoke and cooking fires carefully masked, tents laid out to confuse spies, and sentries positioned with a logic so exact that no intruder could approach without being noticed, yet noticed and unmolested until the critical moment. Imagine a single unit climbing a cliff to survey a castle perched above a valley, their limbs slick with dew, heart pounding as they record every detail, the placement of watchtowers, the timing of patrols, the angle of the sun on defensive walls, each movement calculated to allow future infiltration, sabotage, or assassination. And as dawn breaks, small groups slip down into villages to sow confusion, steal supplies, or quietly eliminate key targets, leaving behind no trace save a carefully placed talisman or a window left slightly ajar, a silent signature of their presence. While other units shadow enemy couriers, intercepting messages, copying them, replacing them with false intelligence, all without detection, turning the very flow of information against the enemy. And this delicate choreography continues hour by hour, each ninja knowing exactly where to be, what signals to watch for, which paths to avoid, and how to vanish like smoke when danger arises. For their lives are bound to the success of the mission, their loyalty to the clan and the strategist who commands them. And as midday approaches, larger operations begin. Bridges are sabotaged just enough to delay reinforcements, supply caches destroyed or poisoned, roads rendered impassable, while invisible observers report enemy movements back to shadow commanders using mirrors, smoke signals, or hidden couriers who move through terrain no samurai could follow. And the tension is constant, for at any moment a misstep could reveal an agent, triggering firefights, pursuit, or death. And yet, the ninja thrive in this tension, using it as a lens to sharpen senses, timing, and decision-making, moving through forests, scaling walls, and slipping through alleys with a grace that belies the weight of the lives they manipulate and the chaos they sow, as if the very air conspires to carry them unseen. And by late afternoon, coordinated strikes begin. Gates silently unlocked, armories emptied, officers eliminated, and enemy formations destabilized, all executed without warning, creating confusion and fear far greater than the small number of deaths inflicted, a psychological warfare perfected over generations. And all the while, the ninja maintained communication with distant units, ensuring the flow of intelligence, the coordination of multiple strikes, and the timing of retreats. Because unlike the samurai who fight for honor in visible battle, the ninja fight in the shadows, where success is measured in silence, efficiency, and invisibility. And as night approaches, the aftermath is carefully surveyed, bodies hidden or moved, evidence erased, signals reset, and agents vanish back into the forests, mountains, or riverbanks from which they came, leaving behind cities and armies destabilized, entire campaigns influenced by men and women who no one ever saw, yet whose actions determine the fate of lords, provinces, and even the shogunate itself. And in the cold darkness, they regroup, plan the next day's strikes, share intelligence, tend minor wounds, repair weapons, and study terrain maps by candlelight, all under the cloak of secrecy, knowing that their lives are expendable, but their mission is eternal, that one misstep could mean capture, torture, or death. Yet failure is never an option, for the very survival of the clan, and sometimes the fate of Japan itself, depends on their ability to move unseen,
strike with precision, and vanish before the enemy even realizes the battle has begun. And this is the true essence of the ninja shadow armies, a combination of foresight, patience, and lethal efficiency, operating in a world where the ordinary rules of war are inverted, where silence is weaponized, invisibility is armor, and every shadow hides a master of death and deception. And as the night deepens, the ninja prepare for the next day, a continuous cycle of reconnaissance, sabotage, assassination, and psychological warfare, a rhythm of shadows that could stretch for miles. And in these hours, their discipline, skill, and cunning reach their peak, as they manipulate entire campaigns without ever revealing themselves, leaving a legacy not written in chronicles or monuments, but etched invisibly into the history of feudal Japan, proving that the deadliest army is not always the one with the largest swords or banners, but the one that strikes from darkness, unseen, unstoppable, and eternal.
As night deepens and the first patrols of enemy samurai stir in distant forts, the ninja move like whispers across the terrain, climbing jagged ridges and slipping through bamboo forests where moonlight barely penetrates, their presence betrayed only by the faintest indentation in snow or dew. And now, imagine a small detachment sent to intercept a messenger carrying vital intelligence between rival warlords, a single rider racing along a mountain pass unaware that death waits in every shadow. The ninja split into multiple teams, one blocking the path ahead, hidden in a copse of trees, another poised to strike from above, crouched atop rocky outcrops with shuriken and bow, while a third shadows the messenger silently, ready to cut off any escape. Each member aware that hesitation could doom not just the mission, but the entire network of operations coordinated across valleys and rivers, for one compromised courier could unravel months of careful planning. And when the messenger comes into range, the attack is swift, silent, and merciless. A rope tightened, a bowstring released, a shuriken finding its mark, all within seconds, leaving only a fallen horse and the faint impression of disturbance in the leaves. No cries to alert nearby villages, no tracks that could betray the assailants. And before the first startled crow caws, the ninja have vanished, melting into the terrain as if swallowed by the night itself. Meanwhile, elsewhere, other units sabotage supply lines, granaries silently emptied, bridges weakened with subtle cuts to ropes and beams, gates left slightly ajar to mislead guards, all choreographed to create maximum disruption with minimum confrontation. The strategy designed to fracture enemy morale before direct combat even occurs, and as the first hints of dawn appear, another team infiltrates the courtyards of a small castle, using secret passages known only to generations of ninja, removing key figures from the political equation, sabotaging armories with hidden powders that smoke but do not ignite, leaving the impression that the castle is haunted or cursed, so that superstition and fear take root before the enemy can even rationalize the threat. Throughout the day, the ninja maintain communication through coded signals. A flutter of a cloth on a rooftop, a small cairn of stones placed in a river bend, the pattern of smoke from a distant hill, each a message that tells distant teams where reinforcements are needed, where danger lurks, where the enemy plans to respond, all without a single spoken word, for sound is the enemy's ally if allowed to carry news of their presence. And the ninja exploit this with ruthless precision. Their coordination is such that entire armies may be maneuvered into disadvantageous positions by invisible hands, entire campaigns influenced by agents who never brandish banners, yet whose impact resonates like a shockwave across provinces. And as the sun climbs high, other detachments are tasked with diversionary raids, small fires lit at the edges of enemy villages, livestock scattered along supply routes, decoys placed to draw attention away from primary targets, each action perfectly timed, designed to confuse, distract, and fragment focus, turning every opposing commander into a victim of misinformation, paranoia, and relentless psychological pressure, while the real attacks unfold silently elsewhere. And as dusk approaches, the ninja do not rest. They survey their work, ensuring that no trace is left that could reveal their techniques, removing footprints, resetting altered terrain, and confirming signals are in place for the next day's operations. Injuries are treated with herbal poultices in secret, weapons sharpened and repaired, and scouts sent once more to report on enemy recovery efforts. The rhythm of reconnaissance and sabotage never ceasing, because the moment of inattention could undo the results of weeks of planning. And yet, for all their lethal efficiency, the ninja are human, feeling the tension of constant exposure, the weight of lives dependent on their decisions. The mental strain of balancing patience with action, knowing that hesitation could mean death not only for themselves, but for those who rely on them across hidden valleys and mountaintops. By nightfall, as enemy forces regroup, believing the worst disruptions to be the result of chance or misfortune, the ninja already planned the next cycle of strikes. A new set of infiltration routes, hidden rendezvous points, sabotage targets, and assassination assignments, each chosen with the meticulous calculation that has defined their centuries-long dominance in the shadows. And throughout it all, a single guiding principle unites them: efficiency without trace, death without spectacle, and control over every thread of warfare, visible and invisible. For the ninja's power lies not in open confrontation, but in shaping the battlefield before it is ever seen, bending entire campaigns to their will while remaining unseen, unheard, untouchable. A living network of shadow and strategy that defines the unseen face of war in feudal Japan.